series of interviews with executives whom we interview on their experiences in recruitment processes. We will meet Sebastian Drzewiecki. Sebastian is Managing Director of Sabre Polska, a company that is dealing with software and solutions for airplanes and airlines. Thanks God, Sebastian didn't take an airplane today to come to us. He took a scooter. Sebastian, I'm very happy that you came. It's nice that you take part in our interview series, where we interview people who usually interview our other people, but we also interview people on a daily basis. We are an executive search company. My first question relates, of course, to recruitment experiences, and you have been, of course, been hired sometimes in your career. And what is interesting for me, especially, and I would like to ask you as a first question, is: do you remember any very, very specific lesson learned from any kind of experiences that you have among being recruited for an executive or a senior director role? Maybe something funny, or maybe something terrible, or something just is inspiring. Can you remember something like this? Recall some kind of this kind of memory?
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me to the series. I think my experience with the current employer, Sabre, was, I think, the best one I had in my life, to be honest with you. Why was it the best? It was so complex, so well prepared, and was from the beginning to the end, you felt like someone is taking care about you. I remember before my trip to HQ to be interviewed by a number of people, I have received the bios of these people. I have received materials. I have received financial report about the industry where Sabre is operating today. So I already could better understand about the business implications, direction, and also how sector is doing. And the way how I was traveled to Dallas, how I was picked up from the airport and delivered to the hotel and then to the HQ was fantastic. What was really, I think, the best experience from the interview day was the interview of the CEO of the company. It's a unique opportunity to be interviewed by such person, because you can really understand that this person's vision about you, about your role, and about the company going forward. And Sean has very clear focus and a very clear vision. And to be honest with you, he convinced me. He bought me to the Sabre, to the company. The whole day was long. We started at 8:30 with the interviews, and we finished 7 p.m. Was, I think, 10 or 11 interviews with the people from different business units, with the CFO. With the CFO, we had a working lunch. So it was lunch and work. Like, it's also typical for the US. I had also an interview with the person from HR, from legal. So it was a long day. The funny thing was that you might say it is hard, 11 people interviewing you on the day, but you can learn that the third person, they more or less ask the same questions. So the fourth person, you are very well prepared for the next part of the interview. It was fun, but whole experience was fantastically fantastic. I remember on the day when I have arrived, I have also received additional information about what is the schedule, who will be interviewing me, when, what this person is representing in the company, what kind of the business unit. Amazing experience.
Great. And I understand that it was also partly a job of an executive search company, or yes, some recruitment company that has been taking care about it.
Yeah, the executive search also really prepared me well for from the business perspective to be to make sure that I will be ready to answer some business questions from my perspective in the sector, because for me, travel was completely brand new sector to operate in.
Mm-hmm. Probably also some questions about travel in this case was important, because you had some jet lag to fight, and yes, changes of time zones coming from Poland to US.
The fun was, to be honest with you, on the day of the interview, I had terrible headache for some reasons. So I just took, I think, 3 pills of the ibuprofen to be really able to operate. So I was really calm. Mm-hmm. And even one of the people who interviewed me, Dave, he said, "Probably you should also work in the sales department, because you can talk to our clients because you are so calm." Yes, because after 3 pills, probably everyone would be calm. But jet lag was terrible. I woke up 2 a.m. because it was already I think 8 a.m. in Poland, and you have to survive whole day. It was hard.
Okay. From your experiences of this kind, do you remember also recall some specific very important or maybe very difficult question that you have been asked that you had maybe problem to answer, or maybe you found it especially inspiring to answer this question?
I think for me the most challenging and difficult is asking about your salary expectations. Not because I can't, of course, explain my current level and other expectations, but because I think when you change job, at least for me, you're changing job for the different reasons. Or you search for the better purpose, or for the better scope of operations, or for better impact, or for a new boss. I never had this experience, but usually when changing is because the new company is offering you more challenges to deal with. So this one is the most difficult one. Maybe I'm not the only one answering this question, but for me it's like usually tricky.
Yes, but you are not the only one, absolutely. Very much of our candidates usually are somehow even sometimes confused by this salary question, but not because of that they cannot speak about it. It's just because it's not usually their reason to change the job. So that's the last thing. And usually, as a matter of fact, this kind of questions are quite simply finding some simple solutions. So that's not usually the problem about the recruitment. It's the problem if this is a role that you want, or if it's a candidate that you want. Okay, if we would now switch a little bit the perspective, still staying at the interview surroundings or interview environment, but now when you are a hiring manager and you are recruiting somebody for your team, or as your peer, or as your somebody who you will supervise, do you have any specific tricky question that you ask? I mean, it will be probably now revealing some of your secret strategies for interviews, but okay, people will know it now. You would maybe have to change it, but for now, what is the most important or tricky question you always want to ask your candidates for managerial roles?
Maybe because also usually the site leaders roles representing the company are quite unique. So you deal very often with many secret sensitive informations on the corporate levels, and in most cases it is the case. So you really search for a person you can trust and you can rely on. So my question is to trying to understand why this person applied for the job. Is also the question, why do you work with me? So for me, I think it's quite easy to find many informations on the internet about what I'm representing, my thoughts about leadership, my thoughts about the company, strategies, and so on. So you can well prepared, but not many people really do the homework. And they're quite confused by the question, so they try to build the answer when they answer. I think I have only one person so far in my life, and she was able to really explicitly say, I'd like to work with you because A, B, C, D things. I was really impressed by her.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So it's a good advice and maybe a suggestion for the candidates in future applying to Sebastian. Always check him out and know why you want to work with him. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shema.